I'm going to show you how I've started using ChatGPT to track my macros, including giving you the exact copy and paste prompt that I've been using. In doing so, you'll be able to stop guessing and know exactly what you're eating. Now, I'm not here to tell you what to eat, but I am here to show you how I stopped guessing and how you can build the same setup in about 5 minutes. So at the end of last year, the beginning of this year, when I was setting my goals for what I wanted to improve or change about my health, I did have some assumptions about my nutrition, but I really didn't have any concrete evidence or data. My assumptions were that I was likely to be over-consuming calories, even the healthy foods, like over-consuming fats, probably over-consuming carbs or my splurge added sugars, and then I likely was under-consuming protein. So that led me down the path of getting a system in place, something that had worked for me before, whether I was writing down in a food journal or back in the day when P90X was like the rage and many people were doing it, including myself. I had to track down the number of portions of vegetables, fruits, carbs, and fats. And that was really helpful for me, was having some guardrails or something to add some accountability around the number of calories and the certain different types of foods that I was eating. So when I sat down to think how I wanted to accomplish this in 2026, I wanted to use something that was simple. Previously, I had like a clipboard in my kitchen that I would, and markers, and I would write down or cross through the different types of foods I was eating. But it seems only appropriate to try to use something in the digital age, something that is more advanced and has the ability to give me feedback. So that's where I lean into ChatGPT. So what this system is it's not, and what it's not, more importantly, is it's not a system for a calorie obsession. It's not meal planning, and it's not about getting absolute perfection on the data. What it is a way for me to have some awareness around what I'm consuming, to get some feedback and to begin to recognize some patterns that specifically relate to my current health and the goals that I have for me. All right, so a few things to cover before we kind of go over the shoulder and watch me in my ChatGPT account is that I'm not a ChatGPT expert. I'm not a beginner. I'm maybe intermediate, and I'm definitely committed to advancing my learning. And I think that I've developed something here that is working for me that I'm comfortable sharing with you. So that's number one. Number two, I would recommend that you have the app, the ChatGPT app on your phone. I think many people do at this point, but that way the convenience of being able to just talk and dictate into your phone on the fly is a lot easier than pulling up out a laptop or going to your desk to document. Although I live in a 854 square foot apartment, so that's pretty easy for me to do too. And last, I would just encourage you to have some expectations about what you want out of using ChatGPT to help you track and count and evaluate your macros. So for me, I'm seeing it as one, accountability. Just the requirement, if I want true data, to have to document what I eat, that is accountability from going to the cupboard or the fridge to grab a little morsel of this or a big morsel of that, right? So that's one part of it. And then last is that I'm just using ChatGPT as a thinking partner, right? It certainly can plan, but at this point, I need someone to bounce ideas off of, help me recognize patterns, and just, again, help me be a thinker. So I actually call my ChatGPT coach. So that's how I refer to it, and it's really coaching me through this process. All right, so I do have my current food journal that I am using on a day-to-day basis open, and I have a new chat window we'll be using. But first, I just want to share a little bit of background and some things to consider as we get started here using ChatGPT to track your macros. Again, this process, these prompts are things I probably will continue to learn about and iterate on to as I get better and continue my own learning. So this is take it for what it's worth. Hopefully this is giving you a fresh start though, or a start at all here. So basically the couple of key things is that we're not just thinking of ChatGPT as an app, but think of it as like a smart intern who knows a lot about nutrition, but it has to learn about you to be effective and give you recommendations. So really it's a partner, like a thinking partner. It's kind of how I like to think about it. And actually mine, I have loaded like a personality assessment. I have loaded a ton of different stuff about me and actually have named my ChatGPT coach. So I call it coach. It calls itself coach. And so that's how I'm using ChatGPT for the most part. I have two accounts. This is my personal plus account, and then I have a work account. But anyhow, so we'll get to into the chat GPT just a minute. But few things are that the context we want to give it is really, really important. It's not just, you shouldn't be using it like Google and asking questions. You need to give it clarity, tell the role that you want it to play, and then provide some context and ask for some clarifying questions among some of the things you're going to see in the prompt I'm going to share with you. But again, we're going to provide it, ultimately going to end up providing it context around our goals. You're going to provide it context around the constraints you want on how you want the output produced, what kind of information how specific you want the information tailored back to you, and things of that nature. And then really the other part that will improve this experience for you is to give it feedback. So your feedback is more context. So as you begin to do this, as you have 3 to 4 days of tracked information, then you can also begin to say, well, this is how I felt today, and just provide more context around the food you ate, and maybe it will guide and start to make connections from day to day on the food you're eating and how you're feeling. So that's something you could do. And then start smart. So you're going to want to have everything in one chat, and you're going to want to name it, like I've named mine food journal macro assessment. Like that is the chat. All of my stuff only goes there, because you want to layer more context on top of context. And that's where the patterns can begin to emerge in that one thread, right? So don't just keep opening up new windows. You have one thread. And actually I had inputted a day, or I guess a meal, and on my phone I had chose the wrong chat. And then I noticed, I'm like, oh, it's not really giving me the normal feedback that I was expecting about my calories. And then I looked and I had put in the wrong chat. So I deleted it and I moved to the other chat. So anyhow, so that is just some kind of getting started info. And then also just be clear, be very specific, as you'll see. So this is the prompt that I'm going to give to you, and it's in the description, that we're going to add to this ChatGPT here. But I put it over the course of 2 slides just to make it easier to read, because it's so small if I didn't do that. So again, see the things I just mentioned where I'm going to tell it its role, I'm going to give it context, and then I'm going to invite some clarifying questions one at a time, so that I can so that it can think smart, and I can think. I would hate to get 10 questions, so I want to give it one at a time to feed chat and to allow myself to give organized, good information. So again, act as my nutrition and health thinking partner. My goal is to better understand how what I eat affects my energy, recovery, body composition, overall health. I think what I want for now is close enough ballpark estimates of calories, protein, carbs, fat, and fiber, but not perfection. Time out on that. The reason I want to do that is because I want this to be very, it can be accurate enough to begin for me to just get some accountability around tracking my food, but I'm not going to be measuring on any scales. I'm going to be disciplined and focused on entering the amounts, but it's not like I need to like do the 2 to 10 calories per day, right? So that's my point. I want to just a habit that I can continue for the whole year. Again, I've committed to doing 300 food journals for the year on ChatGPT. So that's why I'm choosing that, because I just want to be able to do it on the fly. If I'm eating a meal out, I want to be able to look at my plate and take a very good ballpark guess on what that is. So with that little PSA, back to the prompt. I will log what I eat after meals using rough quantities and specific brands when possible. And then the last part of this is in your output. So again, it's telling you specifically what you want back. Please help me estimate my macros and calories, point out patterns or blind spots, and then suggest small, realistic adjustments, especially around protein and energy stability, that's what I'm interested in. You can, again, customize and tailor this prompt as you see fit, but, and then be practical, supportive, honest. You can say, be a dick, tell me, frankly, whatever you want to do. So anyhow, that's that. And then the other important part is, before we start, you may ask me 3 to 5 brief questions, one at a time, that will help me help personalize your insights over time. So we're going to go ahead and just do this. So I'm going to copy this prompt into this new window, and I'm going to put this in I'm going to put this in a temporary chat, so I don't have this. You just put it into your chat over here. If I have dozens and dozens of chats over here, but for the sake of this video, I'm just going to kind of show you here. I don't want to use it for my data, right? So I'm going to post that. I'm going to come back here and grab the second half here, and we were going to hit enter here just to get this started in just 1 second. Okay, but what you're going to see is, again, what's going to happen is it's going to come back with those questions about, what are your goals? Do you have a calorie or protein target in mind? What foods do you prefer or not? So those are the kind of things it's going to get back, right? So we're going to go ahead and just briefly kind of see where this goes. There's the prompt. Okay, love this approach. Happy to be your nutrition health partner. Yada yada yada. Question 1 through 4. Again, so what's my age? I'm 49. I am 6 foot tall. I am 190 pounds. And that's it. Okay. So that is that. We'll usually kind of spits out quite a bit of information. For the sake of the video, I'm not going to review all this, but okay. What's your primary goal right now? For right now, choose a close option or briefly describe it. Primary goal. Okay. Fat loss, body composition, lose fat, maintain. So that's for me. That's what I would choose. So I am interested in this very, very much, but for the time being, I'm trying to just get back at about 10 pounds lighter. So I'm going to just choose this one. Okay, so that is that. It's a great realistic target. Okay, what does your activity look like most weeks? Strength training. Okay, so 3 days of weights per week. I really don't care about the misspellings. It knows. Cardio or conditioning training. Cardio, 20 miles per week of zone 2 cardio and 1 30-minute interval training. In daily movement, desk, job, but I still get in my steps intermittently throughout the day. I think that's what it wants. Okay, so excellent. Set up for body recomposition. Good to know. Thanks. Okay. Any constraints or preferences I should know about? This I could kind of go on here, so I would probably spend a little bit more time on that. But basically, looks like after I put that, then we're good to go. Once you log your first meal, I'll estimate macros and calories and like patterns, blind spots, yada yada yada. So that's basically, you can see I'm giving it context. It's learning more about me. I'm going to continue to add to this. So that is that. So for the sake of this video not being super long, I just wanted to introduce this concept and give you this prompt so you can just go through this process and not see me trying to rush through all this for you. So I did want to pull up. This is the one that I have been doing. Okay, so this was my first prompt ever. Or my first entry ever. And what I did is I actually just did it for the whole day at the end of the day. And I found that I did not like that as much. But you can see in that case, I put the date. It was January 5th. I had 7 a.m. I had this. At 10 a.m. I had this. At 6 p.m., 1 p.m. I had this. 6 p.m. I had so on and so forth. So that is kind of what I had. And you can see the output here was these estimated calories, a quick summary. And then it showed me that I was under target for my protein. Which again, I believe that my assumptions I've already shared in this video were that I was assuming when I was doing this, why I needed this is that I was probably consuming more calories than I was underestimating the calories I was consuming. I was not getting enough protein and I was over consuming fats and or possibly carbs. So boom, that's pretty much what my carbs were probably in check, but my fat was definitely higher. And so this was good for me to see on paper without I didn't give it the information I wanted to see. I was honest because I want to know what I'm actually eating, right? So again, it points out what worked well. Some of the things that could have contributed to my fat intake being high. I stacked EVO, extra virgin olive oil on multiple meals. I had almond butter, I had avocado oil baked fries, pumpkin seeds, ranch dressing, and chocolate. That's a lot of fat contributors. So, but again, that's none of them were necessarily bad per se, but 500 calories or so. So that is that. And then again, it gives me the coach's take for day 1, and then tell me when you're ready for day 2. I also mentioned that, what am I doing here? Oh, I know this doesn't fit into my exact plan for GI focused diet right now, but I'm working to that, and I was done eating by 6 p.m., which felt good. This is me giving it feedback. Also, I've cut out creatine, collagen, and glutamine for the time being, just kind of giving it more context. It already knows the meds I take, the supplements I'm on, because it's my whole account, so it just knows me. So I'm just giving it that feedback as well. And I do see this stopping at 6 p.m. is a big driver for me to improve my heart rate variability and my resting heart rate and get good sleep. So that was just sharing that context. So let's see. I'm just going to skip through all this. Then I just asked it, which this should be conversational. Is it okay if I have my food as they go via dictation and let you know when I close my eating window for the day? It's actually much more practical than to think back or write down and then add it here. So that's what I've been doing on my phone. So you can see here when I come back, January 6th, this was my, around lunch, I went back in and I dictated these 2 meals at 7 a.m. and 10:30. Check out more for later. Again, it gives you a little bit of feedback on the different things that you're doing well throughout the day, and kind of gives you the ability to do some course correction by calling some things out as well. Again, if I'm getting pretty fat forward on my diet, then it will tell me those things. Or if I'm behind on protein, that's good too. It will tell me that. So 2 p.m. I had a shake with 1 scoop protein powder, half teaspoon of psyllium husks, and 1/3 of vegan Shakeology. Again, just adding here, trying to get my protein back up for the day, and that's why I had that meal. So I got the feedback. I saw I was behind my protein, so I course corrected with that very easy thing to make at home. That is that. You can kind of see, I think I had one more slide over here just for like the daily prompt, but essentially it's here's what I ate today and at what time, and here's what it was and the amount that I had. So some other context that this is a separate prompt you could use just at the end of each day. Again, as I demonstrated, I really had preferred to have it be just dictating one at a time. But I do think it's helpful to share any other context. Maybe at the end of the day, you can share before you say my eating window is closed, which you would want to do to get that end of the day input, is you can say, this is my exercise today, or I slept lousy last night, or I had a very stressful afternoon at work, or whatever. So anyhow, I hope this is helpful. Again, just like I will continue to iterate on this process and learn from my, day 6, I think, of the year of tracking my food through this process, and we'll see where it goes. All right, well, there you have it. Another episode is in the books. I would love for you to share just one thing you took away from today's episode. If you could please comment that down below. And number 2, is there something that has worked for you with tracking your macros? Is there a certain insight or tool or a mindset that you've learned that you want to share with others? So if you could, please please share that below. Otherwise, that's it for this episode. I look forward to episode 7 will come next week. And after that, we're going to do another vlog as I head down to Cancun with my wife. So thanks so much for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you next week. If this approach resonates with you, I'd love for you to subscribe and follow along.